Hello, my powerful posse, and welcome back to Purple RX. It is Renata, your friendly and resourceful PharmD, here to help you navigate this health and wellness world so that it hopefully trickles over into other parts of your life to figure out what exactly works for you, because everything is not for everybody, and everybody is not for everything. And that's okay. That's actually perfect so that you can find out what you need and you don't have to worry about keeping up with anybody or doing this or doing that or getting caught in the next trend or toxicity, whatever. You don't have to worry about that. And today is Freestyle Friday. And on Freestyle Fridays, I don't have any notes. I haven't really done any research. It's just based off of incidences in my life. It's incidences in my life, things that I've come to discover, find out. Sorry, I got a text message. I'm doing this off my phone. Things I've come to discover, find out about myself or about this life that I'm in, these things that I'm going through or dealing with or understanding in life, just period. And today I want to get into struggle because I had a conversation with somebody and I remember they asked me, it was during the pandemic. And I had quit my job, they got rid of me after 2 weeks and didn't need me anymore after they got what they needed. But quit my job, or no longer been with them. And I was looking for another job, but then I kind of wasn't. I was working on what to go next. I was also working on my business. So I was working on, what steps to take next, how to take these steps next. So I was kind of in a lot of avenues, looking for a job, working on my own business, then thinking of another idea to do this and that encompasses into another business. So I just had a lot going on in my brain and my life was transitioning. So I was going through or thought I was in a struggle. And, the person was like, so how's everything going? And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Are you struggling? And I was like, yeah, a little. And then they were like, do you want to struggle for the rest of your life? And I was like, whoa, I felt like a little attacked at the moment. I was like, how did me struggling right now turn into a struggle for the rest of my life? And I thought about it. And I actually looked up the definition of struggle before I got into this. And they said struggle is a forceful or violent effort to get free from or out of a restraint or some kind of constriction or being constricted by something. It could be a physical restraint. It could be mental, emotional, whatever. And so I thought about it. Even when that person asked me the question, like when I was thinking about what my struggle was, it was like, I think I'm making myself struggle, or it's a struggle for me because it was a new avenue. It was a new avenue because I had come from a 6-figure career and now I was in I don't know what kind of figure at the moment that I was going through. It wasn't the same. It wasn't like I always had so many thousands coming to me every 2 weeks. And when you become used to and comfortable getting something every 2 weeks or getting so much money and having so much money to use and spend and doing it how you wish and whatever you wish and still having it can become different. And people always talk about, oh, you don't want to be in a struggle. But sometimes the reason we're in a struggle is not because it's not somewhere we're supposed to be. Sometimes it's because we're struggling within our mind and within our hearts and within our perspective to actually see that everywhere we are is exactly where we're supposed to be. You're struggling in that because maybe you're supposed to be here at this moment. There's something you need to learn. There's something you need to understand. Maybe there's something you need to see that you're not really missing out on anything because you don't have the money you used to have. Are you really that different of a person, or can your life not move forward because you switched over and changed something or something became hard? And I know people are out there, well, I don't want struggle love. I don't want this. I don't want that. I believe struggle is more of a perspective. Sometimes we're fighting against things that that's exactly where we're supposed to be. We're fighting against a relationship that we're supposed to be in. Maybe we're not supposed to be in it for years, for a lifetime, but we're supposed to be there at that moment. And at that time, we're fighting against it and trying to push it away and get out of it or get rid of it. And really, we're missing the lesson that we need to learn there. The pattern that we keep having from that relationship that'll pass on to the next one, to the next one. Because you could be like, this is a struggle relationship, and get out of that really quick. No problem. Trust. I used to drop them like a bad habit. That's what my friend told me. She was like, you don't keep them around. A friend of mine told me, you don't keep them around. I was like, nah, if they ain't acting how I feel, then I get rid of them. But it was a struggle for me to actually stay through some hard times. But I made that own struggle because I looked at it from a certain perspective, or sometimes I didn't give something some time, or I just didn't have a great outlook on this because maybe the past or the way I grew up. And some things was like, if it's not right, then that's not how this life goes. That's not how this life goes. And I had to learn that. And I had to really look at myself and think about, why am I really struggling? Am I struggling against something that God has put me here to not just learn a lesson, but to see something in a different way? Maybe I asked for this and I'm struggling against it because I'm trying to fight what I think this doesn't look like or is supposed to look like. We have this vision. When we say, oh God, I want this, we have this vision of what it should be like, because we've seen it off TV or we've seen somebody else have it, or we think we know what it's supposed to be. And then God gives it to us and we're like, I don't like it here. Or I don't like this, that, and this, and what I'm with this person that I'm dealing with. And really the struggle may be is you're not willing to change. You're not willing to change your attitude. A lot of times we're struggling against things because we're not willing to see, what is this here? What is really going on? Because I'm here for a reason. I'm in this position at this moment, in this challenging situation for a reason. Why am I sitting here? Why am I making something a struggle when it's really not? Because you're fighting against something that it's supposed to be in your life and in your circle and in your vicinity at that moment. You're supposed to be going with the flow. And going with the flow does not mean you have to agree with everything. Going with the flow sometimes is take a step back. Breathe. Let go of your perceptions of what you think something's supposed to be. And really take it in. Appreciate just being there at that moment. Whether it's a lesson, whether it's a good or bad thing, appreciate it all, because when you start appreciating it, God knows that you're listening. He knows you're paying attention to those lessons. He knows that you're learning and you're growing within self, because no matter what relationship or what situation or wherever you go, whether you get rid of that because you thought that situation was a struggle, or you stop doing that because that was too much of a struggle, or you don't jump out on faith because it's a struggle to not have this much money or not be this way. When you do that and you don't really, and you're kind of just running away from where you're supposed to be and where you can go and how far you can go, because you're worried about the struggle. Look, there's going to be some things at first that you're going to struggle against, and then later on you're going to love. And the struggle is really from within. You're fighting the flow of things coming into your life. You're fighting the flow of not paying attention and being aware of what you asked for, and that it's here, and that you're in this place and in this position. And those are things that you have to start paying attention to. Are you really struggling? Is this really a struggle? And if this is a struggle, why is this a struggle? Am I fighting against it? Because this is not what I envision? Or because this is not how it's supposed to go from my perspective? Or because somebody else told me it should look like this, when a lot of things manifesting does not look one way. It does not look one way at all. There are going to be challenges within the flow and the changes that we make. If there ain't no challenges, you're not learning. Challenges are chances for you to learn and for chances for you to grow and grow past so many things. So welcome those challenges. Welcome the struggle. Because when you welcome them, you open yourself up to learn. You open yourself up to start to look at things from another perspective, to expand who you are and expand your horizon and expand who you really are and who you're meant to be and where you're meant to go. So running away from struggle or saying this is struggle love or a struggle situation, sometimes it's only struggle love because of the perspective you're looking at it. Sometimes you're struggling because you're not letting go of a perception, or you're not letting go of what your mom told or somebody else told you something is supposed to look like. Or you've asked for something and then you're not letting go to let it actually flow, to let it actually come and expand. Because something can come to you and it'd be great. But then because I know I have done this, then when the little things come in, oh, this is a red flag, this is a red flag, this is a red flag. And sometimes those red flags aren't always red flags. Now, I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about things where people have lied, cheated, stolen, deceitful. Those are just no's. Those are just, we're not doing that. Most of those things, especially in the beginning of relationships or situations or whatever. When somebody's just deceitful, using you, abusing you, whatever, those are just out. I get those. But sometimes when they're like, oh, the type of shoes he wears, or the type of car he drives, or where his house is, or where is it, and I get it, and I get it, you want to live a certain life. But sometimes, some people don't know how to dress like you would think to dress. That can be taught. Some people don't know how to handle money well. That can be taught and changed within people. There is a lot of things that we point out that it doesn't look right, but sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, God has to build it into that. God in the universe just doesn't give it to you all like a genie, like, it ain't happening like that. You're not gonna get everything that it's supposed to look like at the request that you ask, like, I need this exactly now, this way. It ain't gonna look like that. Sometimes it looks a little rough in the beginning, or it looks not what you pictured in the beginning. But sometimes, a lot of times, you have to give it time. Give it time to build. Give it time to metamorph, transform. Because when we interact with people, slowly we're transforming those things in people. Because now they have a new perspective. Because they had that perspective maybe that back in the day, but they've been jaded or hurt, and things have changed their mind, and things have changed the situation. And sometimes you can bring new light or shed new things on those. So welcome the struggle. And don't look at it as a struggle. Look at it as a moment to see where, how can I change the way I look at this? How can I change my attitude about this? How can I work differently within this? And is it all that I need to change, or do I need to step back? Sometimes you're struggling because you're trying to force something to happen, and sometimes you just need to step back and let God handle the rest, and let the universe handle whatever needs to be handled and however it needs to be handled. Sometimes you've done as much work that you can do, and you just need to step back. You just need to chill, step back, let it come to you, let it happen. Just do your part, and your part is seeing things differently. Your part is working on you and making sure you're asking God to make sure you sing the full picture. Sometimes we just sing a little itty bitty piece of it, and that makes us want to think that this is going to be a struggle for the rest of our life, or be a struggle period. And sometimes we are fighting against something that is so great for us. We're fighting because of our fears are in the way, because of our insecurities being in the way. Sometimes that's all we need to ask God is heal me, heal my insecurities, heal my worries, my fears. Sometimes in my family, worries and fears in certain parts of my family have been passed down. And when that worry, fear, anxiety, all those things gets passed down, you sometimes take on that energy and you take on that worry, that burden that you should not be taking on. We should not be taking on anybody else's burdens or having generational burden curses. That should be no longer. Because that's where a lot of times our struggle comes in. That's where we're struggling in some aspects instead of working smarter or changing our perspective and putting it into action into a different way. Now, everybody may not see it this way, but that is something that I have come to understand, that I was just struggling struggling in myself because I wasn't making as much money as I used to, so I needed to budget differently. And I was struggling because I was being lazy and maybe didn't want to sit down every week and budget. And you have to do that no matter how much money you have, because that allows you to manage it in a better way. So ask yourself that, is this really a struggle? And if this is, what is my part to play in this struggle? Am I just allowing God to have time to work this situation out? Am I even letting anybody else work this out? Or is it just me trying to do all these things? Sometimes it's us trying to do, control, and take over all this stuff to make it look a certain way or be a certain way. And we're making more of a struggle than we are allowing things to flow. And allowing things it can be a hard thing, especially if you're a person that wants something particular in a particular way, or things to look particular because we've been taught certain ways. Allowing something is not a control thing. I heard a lot of people talk about allow sounds like somebody's trying to control. No, allow sometimes means that person may be trying to control the picture or think the picture is supposed to look a certain way. And instead of even making a remark or saying anything, it just may be best not to say anything at all. Or it may be best to let some problems arise, let things happen. Sometimes people that are slightly controlling, like me, I'm not gonna lie. In some ways in the past, not as controlling as used to be, but I liked things in a particular way because that's maybe how I was taught. And I'm getting out of that because there is no particular way for something to be. There is no particular way that a relationship has to be. And I'm not talking about a healthy relationship has to be. There is no particular look of it. Everybody's definition, everybody's look is very different. I just want you to take this idea of struggle and take such a negative connotation off of it. See it from a different perspective, because it'll allow you to see the rest of your life from a different perspective. Sometimes you're not struggling. Sometimes we're making a struggle. Sometimes we're making things harder than they have to be because of our own upbringing, perceptions, understandings. In all of that, take your time. Really step back and look. If something's happening again and again and again, whether in a relationship, in business, in work, take a step back and really ask God to show you, God, the universe, however you want to put it, the bigger picture, so that you are able to put things in perspective so you know how to move forward in the proper way. That's what allowing means. Allowing means sometimes stepping back and knowing when to work, when not to work. When to do something and when to just sit there. It's a tough game out there. However you want to put it, it's a tough process, but it's a process worthwhile you should try and you can do. So please change your perspective on struggle, the word struggle, how you see a struggle, and take that perspective and perception of it and build something new with it. Build something greater, something positive. Because out of every rough situation, there's a lesson. Or there is, if there's not a lesson, it allows you to have a new perspective so that you can change the way you interact, the way you accept, the way you do, the way you bring about things, manifest, however you want to say it, whatever it is. Just take a step back and change your perception and perspective about some things in order to move forward in a different way. And move out of the struggle that maybe you've made. Sometimes we make up our own struggle. So I hope this helped you guys, because I know I have struggled in the past and it really wasn't a struggle. I was making it more of a struggle than what it really was. I was making it harder than it really had to be. And I hope you guys can see that, and this helps you to get through that, look past that, and change your perspective on words and how we've given things negative connotation, or we've given things, you can always change the connotation of it. You can always change the connotation of it. You have the power to change whatever you want in your life and change how you see things. Nobody can tell you how you see. If you let somebody control how you see something, that person has too much control over you. So get control of your own mind, your own heart, and look at and change and allow your perspective and perception to be changed on certain things. Allow it to open up, to see things from a different perspective and point of view. So, thank you guys for spending time with me. You know this is Freestyle Fridays. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so that you can get all my messages, because, well, you can get all my videos, because I'll be popping up with more as I get scheduled and get better on the grind. I thank you guys. I appreciate my 2 subscribers who are out there. I appreciate everyone coming to stop by, whether it's for a minute, for a second. Thank you guys. You guys have a nice day.